the following statement about Vrindavan. In this place, the son of Maharaj Nanda used to live with his father, who was king of all cowherd men. In this place, Lord Krishna broke the cart in which the Shaktasura's demon was concealed. At this place, Damodar, who can cut the knot of our material existence, was tied up by his mother Yashoda. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna resides in the districts of Mathura or Vrindavan and visits all the places where Krishna's pastimes were performed. At these sacred places, Krishna displayed his childhood activities with the cowherd boys and Mother Yashoda. The system of circumambulating all these places is still current among devotees of Lord Krishna, and those coming to Mathura and Vrindavan always feel transcendental pleasure. Actually, if someone goes to Vrindavan, he will immediately feel separation from Krishna, who performed such nice activities when he was present there.
Yeah. So this attraction to the holy place is also one of the symptoms of a devotee. So His Holiness Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj, after his recent times, his situation of health is quite bad, and I think last 2 years back or something, he gave initiations, and he said that these are the last initiations. So that's why he gave first and second initiations together. That's why all many devotees like our Neil Sundar Prabhu and all from our temple, they got both the initiations together. um, because although they are very young, but they got second initiation also, because Maharaj said this is the last initiation. He won't give initiations further because his health has deteriorated so much that he couldn't speak. He is not able to speak also. I don't know what is exactly currently his situation, whether he's speaking any classes or not. Maybe Sushmit Pro may know much better. But at least, when I was asking that time, so what Maharaj was doing. So he told one of his disciples is there in our temple, Sri Keshav Prabhu. So he told that Maharaj is going to different holy places in Vrindavan. Although his health is not good, but still he is requesting his disciples, and he just remains there and chants and just meditates and remembers Krishna there. He will go to different forests, different places within Vrindavan. He just sit there and meditate for some time. Just no activity there. Not that he's giving some class there or something. Just sitting, and he just looks at that and just remembers Krishna in various ways, his pastimes, stays there for some time, and then comes back. So when we read this one, that a devotee of Lord Krishna resides in district of Mathura or Vrindavan, visits all the places where Krishna's pastimes are performed. So I remembered that one about Radha Govind Goswami Maharaj. So because everything connected to Krishna is very sacred, so especially the places where Krishna has performed his pastimes are very, very sacred. They are very special. So, and anybody who comes there, you always feel some transcendental pleasure. So Prabhupada is saying, so we can experience that when we go to Vrindavan. Even although we may not be very exalted, but still we feel great pleasure. We feel Krishna consciousness over there, right? When we go to such holy places, we are actually able to feel Krishna consciousness in those places. So that is because of the influence of place is so high. So when one goes to Vrindavan, naturally becomes Krishna conscious. When we go to Mayapur, we naturally become Gaura conscious. Go to Jagannath Puri, we naturally become Jagannath conscious. So that's the glory of these places. The intense, dense spiritual atmosphere is very, very enlivening over there. So that's why a devotee, he wants to live in such a place. Of course, as Prabhupada said that wherever our temples are, Prabhupada established temples, means ISKCON temples, Prabhupada's temples are also as good as Vrindavan Dham, and one can naturally feel Krishna consciousness in those temples as well. As soon as you come to temple, you know, our temple, we naturally feel Krishna conscious. Even Karmi people also, they also just start saying Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. They say like that, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. They'll say like that. So even they become also quite a bit Krishna conscious. So that's a great potency of these places. Okay, please read ahead.
From where Achyut Prabhu, a pure devotee, no?
Such attraction.
Such attraction for remembering is known as attachment for Krishna. There are impersonalist philosophers and mystics, however, who by a show of devotional service want ultimately to merge into the existence of the Supreme Lord. They sometimes try to imitate a pure devotee sentiment for visiting the holy places where Krishna and his pastimes, but they simply have a view for salvation, and so their activities cannot be considered attachment. Shall I read it?
Hmm.
It is said by Rupa Goswami that attachment exhibited by pure devotees for Krishna cannot possibly be perfected in the hearts of fruitive workers, karmis, or mental speculators, because such attachment in pure Krishna consciousness is very rare and not possible to achieve even for many liberated persons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, liberation from material contamination is the stage of which devotional service can be achieved. For a person who simply wants to have liberation and to merge into the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, attachment to Krishna is not possible to acquire. This attachment is very confidentially kept by Krishna and is bestowed only upon pure devotees. Even ordinary devotees cannot have such pure attachment for Krishna. Therefore, how it is possible for success to be achieved by persons whose hearts are contaminated by the actions and reactions of fruitive activities and who are entangled by various types of mental speculation?
Yeah. So see, even if we go to such dhams, Vrindavan or Mayapur, Jagannath Puri or wherever, we'll see always there are some people. Not that every person is a very great devotee over there. Of course, whoever is there, they are respectable because at least they have come to dham. But at the same time, they are not as pure devotee because many of them are not original Brajvasis as well or original Gaur Dhamvasis. But many people come there and they may hold some Bhagavad Katha, Bhagavad Sapta, and they may speak various things. But if their goal is not devotional service, they cannot come to the stage of actually this Asakti Bhava Ruchi stage. They cannot come because uh, actually these higher stages are available only for a devotee of the Lord and not for the speculators, Gyanis. So many you will see in Vrindavan also, you must have observed also. There are many posters are there, Gyan Dan Yagya and all different things people will do over there in Vrindavan Dham also. But that doesn't lead to success in actually spiritual life. It's little push attempts of liberation by coming to Vrindavan Dham, but just like that story of this Ramdas Vishwas was accompanying Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, he was constantly chanting Ram's name. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami thought he is a very great Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not at all look at him. So same way these people also, they may stay in Dham and they may give big katha and they may speak a lot of lofty things here and there, but that attachment to Krishna cannot be obtained by them because they are not taking shelter of devotional service. They want to live Yeah, or they want some fruitive results. In that it is not possible for the people who are not devotees to attain that perfection of attachment the way they cannot get such attachment, because attachment to Krishna can be obtained only by devotional service and not by other ways and other means. So those who are fruity workers or liberationists, jnanis, yogis, although they may stay in Vrindavan and may speak very lofty words and this and that and may make a big propaganda, but they cannot attain that attachment to the Lord, which a person who tries to render devotional service there, he can obtain that kind of attachment. So that's why there may be a lot of pomp and show in Vrindavan, especially a lot happens in Vrindavan. Mayapur still not so much happen. Maybe little bit Mayapur also now things have started happening, because Mayapur is still little more secluded. But Vrindavan, lot of pomp and show happens. So, but that cannot lead to the actually, ultimate perfection, because they are not taking shelter of devotional service. They are not taking shelter of devotee of the Lord. They are simply trying to fulfill their own hidden motive hmm, by the means of devotional service. So they cannot attain that perfection. These mental speculators, fruitive workers, all these people. Okay, so please read ahead.
Akshay Prabhu, can you read next two para? Akshay Prabhu.
Okay, yes, bro, I can read. There are many so-called devotees who artificially think of Krishna's pastime, known as Ashtakaliya Leela. Sometimes one may artificially imitate these, pretending that Krishna is talking with him in the form of a boy, or else one may pretend that Radharani and Krishna both have come to him and are talking with him. Such characteristics are sometimes exhibited by the impersonalist class of men, and they may captivate innocent persons who have no knowledge in the science of devotional service. However, as soon as an experienced devotee sees all of these caricatures, he can immediately evaluate such rascaldom. If such a pretender is sometimes seen possessing imitative attachment to Krishna, that will not be accepted as a real attachment. It may be said, however, that such attachment gives the pretender hope that he may eventually rise onto the actual platform of pure devotional service. The imitative attachment can be divided into two headings, namely shadow attachment and para, transcendental attachment. If someone, without undergoing the regulative principles of devotional service or without being guided by a bona fide spiritual master, shows such imitative attachment, this is called shadow attachment. Sometimes it is found that a person actually attached to a material enjoyment or salvation has the good fortune to associate with pure devotees while they are engaged in chanting the holy names of the Lord. By the good grace of the Lord, one may also cooperate and join in chanting. At that time, simply by the association of such pure devotees, the moon-like rays from their hearts reflect on him, and by the influence of the pure devotees, he may show some likeness of attachment caused by inquisitiveness, but this is very flickering. And if by the manifestation of such shadow attachment one feels the disappearance of all the material pangs, then it is called para attachment.
Yeah. So there are various levels now here being discussed in this particular section. There are people who want to cheat in the name of spiritual life. So they are actually they like this Ramdas Vishwas or somebody whom we wanted to mention, that they are wanting to merge in Ram, or they want some of them are pretender. Hmm. So they want to pretend as if they have attachment, like Sahajiyas and Babajis, these that. So many Babajis are there, right? So so sometimes they may wear a dress of gopi and they may dance, and they think that Krishna is talking with me. I have no other. I have only one thing. Like Gaurang Pro says, no, that once he went to attend this Anup Jalota song, so he by mistake he went in the backstage, Hmm. and then he saw that Anup Jalota was drinking, and then afterwards he came on the stage and he started singing ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गई मगन. But then Gorakhpur said, oh ऐसी लगन लागी है इधर पता है ऐसी लगन लागी. So these are examples of pretending attachment. Hmm. So so some innocent people may become captivated by such pretense, but the real devotees never get attracted to such things. Hmm. So especially Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was very strong in these regards. You never entertain such pretenders. Hmm. So this is one thing. Hmm. Um, and that cannot be accepted as real attachment. But nonetheless, one is
Guruji, your voice is breaking in between.
Prabhupada would say that sometimes the imitation of good is. Now is it all right?
Yes, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
In between, it's getting disturbed or not coming only.
Yeah. So I was telling that what I was telling you. So there are pretenders. I was talking about that. Huh?
Imitation of good is good.
Uh, imitation of good is good. So because somehow or other they are not being attached to this world, they are trying to imitate attachment to Krishna. Even that will purify them. Just like Putana showed also some type of affection for Krishna, isn't it? She came as if she is mother. Still Krishna, although she was having evil intentions. Hmm. Now ahead when it comes, there is one is cheater type of attachment. Like Putana had all this Ramdas Vishwas, they had like cheater type of attachment to the Lord. That is like a show or pretense. But then sometimes in the next paragraph, Prabhupada is mentioned that attachment. So shadow attachment is, although the person has not developed real attachment to the Lord, it is imitative attachment only, but innocent. You understand? Like are going on. So many people come and start dancing there, isn't it? In Vrindavan Temple Hall, they start enthusiastically dancing over there. So it is although it is not that they are really like they have got great attachment to Krishna, and out of great love for Krishna they have got attachment to dance or something like that. It's not like that. They afterwards they'll go and they'll dance in Ganpati also, this and that. But somehow they get attracted to Krishna, some things, and innocently they don't have any as such have any intention to become God, or they don't want to get some impersonal liberation, or they don't want to imitate Krishna as such, or they don't want to become Sahajiya. But there is an innocent attachment, which is also imitative in one sense, because they may not have much this thing. Or, we can say other sides, many times our Nakul group boys or new boys. Many times they'll come to see Krishna, I start crying tears, Krishna, Krishna. मेरा अभी पूरा जीवन कृष्ण में हो गया है. अरे बाप रे, मेरा जीवन अभी तक हुआ नहीं. 4-5 साल 6 साल करके अभी तक मेरा जीवन कृष्णमय नहीं हुआ है. इसका इतना जल्दी कैसे हो गया बाबा? So sometimes we feel अरे क्या हो गया? इसको इतना अटैचमेंट कैसे आ गया? मुझे नहीं आया इतना अटैचमेंट. So, but that is an imitative attachment. So Shruti Kirti Prabhu also we discussed this, that once that he also was accompanying Prabhupada, and then he said Prabhupada told him that please Prabhupada told him that he saw that so many devotees were jumping and dancing while seeing Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told him, and he said, Prabhupada, they have so much love for you, and Prabhupada said, this Hari Bol anybody can do. Prabhupada said, but real attachment is to serve, to surrender. But still, this doing Hari Bol is not bad, because ultimately it is done for Krishna only. So that's why, although it is shadow, but still, because of good fortune, the person gets attracted to the devotees. So we see that to many of our gurus also, so many people are attracted, although they may not follow them, but they want to be with them, and they'll say, I know this Swamiji bahut achhe hai, this, that, they will say. But we ask them, so how many rounds you are chanting, sir? No, we don't chant anything. वो हम नहीं करेंगे. But Swamiji अच्छे हैं, हमको अच्छे लगते हैं, and they may attend their live classes or Zoom classes sometimes, or they may want to go and give them some gifts, or they want to go and meet them. So they develop some type of attachments. So in this way, Prabhupada is saying that the moon-like rays from the hearts of pure devotees, they reflect on such people. And in this way, such attachment is always flickering. Why it is flickering? Because okay, they may have attachment for this sadhu for some time. Afterwards they may develop attachment to other sadhus, even non-bona fide sadhus also, or they may exhibit attachment to politicians also, and other people also. It's not that they have specific attachment to the great souls. That is not real. So that's why it is flickering. But then but still this attachment is good. Because we eventually come to the platform of real attachment. That's what attachment is all that attachment person feels for the still. So such attachment is fine, because at least the object of attachment is proper. May not be the magnitude of attachment, may not be very proper, but the object is proper. Okay, please read ahead.
Hare Krishna. Such shadow attachment or para attachment can develop if one associates with a pure devotee or visits holy place like Vrindavan or Mathura. And if any ordinary man develops such attachment for Krishna and fortunately performs devotional activities in the association of pure devotees, he can also rise to the platform of pure devotional service. The conclusion is that transcendental attachment is so powerful that if such attachment is seen manifested even in some common man by the association of a pure devotee, it can bring one to the perfectional stage. By such attachment for Krishna cannot be invoked in a person without his being sufficiently blessed by the association of pure devotees. As attachment can be invoked by the association of pure devotees, so attachment can also be extinguished by offenses committed at the lotus feet of pure devotees. To be more clear, by the association of pure devotees, attachment for Krishna can be aroused, but if one commits offenses at the lotus feet of a devotee, one's shadow attachment or para attachment can be extinguished. This extinguishing is like the waning of the full moon, which gradually decreases and at last becomes dark. One should therefore be very careful while associating with pure devotees to guard against committing an offense at their lotus feet.
Yeah, read next one also.
Transcendental attachment, either shadow or para, can be nullified by different degrees of offenses at the lotus feet of pure devotees. If the offense is very serious, then one's attachment becomes almost nil. And if the offense is not very serious, one's attachment can become second class or third class.
See, these are all very deep subjects. So this para attachment, so we see the shadow attachments, we can say like people like Allen Ginsberg, they also got some attraction and attachment for Prabhupada. Or there are so many others who would come and hear from Prabhupada also, right? Dr. Stilson Judah, so many names we know, right? Thomas Hopkins and so many people's names we hear, and they associated with Prabhupada, and they liked Prabhupada also. And Prabhupada met so many such people, right, here and there at various places. There are many conversations also of Prabhupada. Okay. So that's we can say that's a shadow attachment. But then next level is this para. Para means although the real attachment is not fully developed, but still he has become now quite a bit interested. And the person is, at least trying to follow something, or he has got, he has got some desire to follow some things. So that is called as para level attachment. And real attachments means one surrenders everything to that person. So maybe we can consider George Harrison's attachment in a para category, because although he was not fully 100% follower of Prabhupada, because he couldn't exactly follow all the principles given by Prabhupada, but still he had developed quite sufficient attachment, and he was chanting holy names, and he was associating with devotees regularly, and he was helping devotees a lot. So that type of things we don't see so much in George Harris, our Allen Ginsberg and all that. In the beginning, he did something here and there, but he was not so much of getting involved. Although he used to meet Prabhupada regularly. Or John Lennon also, to some extent, he also developed some attachment for Prabhupada, but again, not so much. He did not so much show. But George Harrison showed much more deeper involvement with Prabhupada, although he did not show exact attachment like a disciple. Then we see you have read this book, Perfect Question, Perfect Answers, right? So that book, we will see that that one Bob, he's asking questions to Prabhupada and Prabhupada is answering. That Bob was not a devotee, but he was outsider, but he got attracted to Prabhupada and he did a lot of question answers with Prabhupada, and eventually he developed real attachment to Prabhupada and he became disciple of Prabhupada also. We'll see at the end of that PQPA book, Perfect Person, he writes also that this is my initiated name, this is my wife's initiated name. So all that husband and wife both got initiated by Prabhupada. And then they are developed further real attachment. So you understood these 4 levels we discussed of attachments. These are 4 major categories, we can say, not just levels. There are many levels within these categories also, but one is you can say that duplicitous attachment. It is only a show. Brahma Tirtha Prabhu. Correct. Brahma Tirtha Prabhu is Bob. Bob became Brahma Tirtha Prabhu. So there is we discussed that one is that pretentious or show off attachment. Like people may sometimes that Mayavadis and Sahajiyas, Ramdas Vishwas, these type of people, we can say that they were like that. They don't have actually any attachment or attraction, but they just want to use that as a medium to fulfill their hidden agendas and motivations, like that. So there are many such people, Sahajiyas and all that, Babajis in Vrindavan Dham, or Navdeep also. Navdeep, Jagannath Puri, you'll see ample of such people. Then above that is those who have shadow attachment. Shadow means they also have got some sentimental attraction for devotees or Lord, which is innocent, but they don't have any hidden motivations or agenda behind it. but still they carry a lot of material attachments also along with it. So they have only they also have superficial, but it's a innocent and you can say kind of, it's actual, means it is not that they want to achieve something else by that. Hmm. Then para is the one when that attachment becomes little more stronger and the person becomes more and more attached to devotee or the Lord and actually starts participating into the programs. Like George Harrison, he was chanting actually every day. He was chanting rounds and he was helping devotees like anything. He made those records. He was really actively participating in Krishna consciousness movement, and Prabhupada appreciated him a lot. So that is third level. But the real level of attachment we can see is that are they exhibited by the disciples of Prabhupada who practically dedicated their lives at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. And amongst them also there are different levels you can see. Some disciples only followed to certain extent only, but other disciples they develop such attachment to Prabhupada that it's like uncomparable to anything else. Such dedication and attachment, they're ready to risk their life for Prabhupada. So that is highest type of attachment. So I hope these different categories of attachment are clear. So first category example was Ramdas Vishwas, pseudo attachment. He has actually no attachment, but he is pretending. Then second level attachment, shadow attachment. We discussed about Allen Ginsberg and Dr. Stilson Judah, these people who also came and met Prabhupada here and there. Even Dr. Nair, that Mr. Nair, he can also be considered in first category. Although he showed so-called appreciation for Prabhupada, but he wanted to cheat Prabhupada. Like Putana, they are also like that type of, first category. Second category is like this Dr. Stilson Judah or, Thomas Hopkins and other people. So, who came and met Prabhupada, they appreciated Prabhupada, they liked Prabhupada also, but they did not take they only got intellectually convinced and that's it. They just had discussion, they liked. Or Dr. Patel, he's also in that category. Shadow attachment. Then there is further is, there is a para wherein person becomes more involved. We discussed the example of George Harrison. And then above that is Prabhupada disciples who committed themselves to Prabhupada. They followed his instructions. So some of the disciples may not have met Prabhupada at all, although these people like Thomas Hopkins and what else, Dr. Stilson Judah, Allen Ginsberg, they got such an opportunity to intimately associate with Prabhupada. Prabhupada would hours and hours discuss with them. But some devotees of Prabhupada disciples, they never met physically Prabhupada personally. But they develop such deep attachment to Prabhupada. Like our Anuttam Prabhu, there are no personal one-to-one meeting of Anuttam Prabhu with Prabhupada. But he developed such deep attachment to Srila Prabhupada that they are now carrying forward his mission. They are following his instructions so seriously in their lives and they are perfecting their lives. Although they have Ladini Mataji also, very nice example. Oh, amazing example, Ladini Mataji. She had hardly few letters from Prabhupada, that's it. Not much interaction with Prabhupada, but she gave her life for Prabhupada. So that is a real attachment platform. Okay. So I think we can complete this one because otherwise the topic will remain incomplete. So please read ahead. Yeah, so another very important point was that, but this attachment, even if we have developed, it can be nullified by offenses. So this is also very commonly seen in Vaishnava circles. In the beginning, devotees may say, Prabhu, you are my life and soul. I am so grateful and you are this, you are that. But eventually they may become antagonistic and they may become critical, offensive to the same person. And they become offensive to the Vaishnavas. And then such attachments are all nullified. They're dissolved because Krishna becomes unhappy with such person. So, and that's why devotees should pray that let my innocence not go away and let me not become cunning. Because, what happens in the beginning, we are very innocent and we want to associate with devotees. We want to, lot of take guidance from senior Vaishnavas, this, that. but eventually we come to know their faults, and then then we start becoming offenders. If we start offending Vaishnavas, these attachments will not manifest. Then they will be covered over, and there will also. That's why, in fact, as he is saying that it can become almost nil, like vanning. So devotional service, so his moon of bhakti is growing and growing. His moon of bhakti is growing and growing. Although in the beginning there was nothing, but then if he starts committing offenses, Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna. Yeah, again my connection was not so good. So I was telling that in preaching we may observe. You heard this one? That in preaching you may observe um, in this thing you may observe. This you heard? This portion?
Yes, Praji, you were talking about how, like, if we commit offenses, then it gets destroyed, the
Correct.
attachment.
Yes. So that's why we should be very careful not to be offensive to the Vaishnavas, because it can be observed at all levels. Person can have deep attachment to Krishna, but everything can be just covered over by aparadhas to the devotees. And this is very rampant, very commonly seen. Very commonly seen. Unfortunately, in Vaishnava circles, these things are very commonly seen. I have seen many devotees that they, in the beginning, they used to jump and dance like anything by seeing some great souls, and now they are just with morose face. They just want to what do you say, abscond away from the Vaishnavas and all that. The main reason is because aparadhas, they committed some offenses to them. So we have to be careful not to commit offenses and take shelter of Vaishnavas rather than committing offenses. Sometimes we may say, so that's why I don't want to remain with devotees, because I may commit offenses. That's not a solution. You learn to deal with devotees properly, and devotees are very merciful by nature. So if we try to even if something mistakes happen here and there in dealings, but if we seek forgiveness, if we serve Vaishnavas, if we try to please them, and we appreciate, glorify Vaishnavas, those offenses can be nullified. That is possible. Devotees will, but if a person shuns himself down from the devotees, then that's very tough for him then. Okay, please read ahead.
If someone becomes attached to the principles of salvation or to merging into the existence of Brahmajyoti, his ecstasies gradually diminish into shadow and para attachment, or else transform into the principles of ahangra hopasana. This ahangra hopasana describes a living entity when he begins spiritual realization by identifying himself with the Supreme Lord. This state of self-realization is technically known as monism. The monist thinks himself one with the Supreme Lord, thus because he does not differentiate between himself and the Supreme Lord. It is his view that by worshipping himself, he is worshipping the Supreme Whole.
Yeah,
Shall I continue, Guruji?
continue.
Sometimes it is found that a neophyte is taking part in chanting and dancing very enthusiastically, but within himself he is under the impression that he has become one with the Supreme Whole. This conception of monism is completely different from pure transcendental devotional service. If, however, it is seen that a person has developed a high standard of devotion without having undergone even the regulative principles. It is to be understood that uh, a person has developed a high. It is to be understood that his status of devotional service was achieved in a former life. For some reason or another, it had been temporarily stopped, most probably by an offense committed at the lotus feet of a devotee. Now, with a good second chance, it has been it has again begun to develop. The conclusion is that steady progress in devotional service can be attained only in association of pure devotees.
So the good news is that it is not never permanently gone. It is not that even if person becomes but offensive and he may go away from Vaishnavas, but he will never permanently go. So by mercy, Krishna will again give him the chance, and if he takes the chance again, then again he may like to be with the Vaishnavas, and again he may revive his attachments to the Lord and the devotees. So that's how we see that many devotees, although they go away sometimes in voice life, away from Krishna consciousness, but it is not that they will be permanently gone now. We'll see at some point of time or other, they'll again turn back and they'll come. So again, chance is given. Lord will give him repeated chances. So, but best is not to go to that path. Better to continue practicing nicely and associate with devotees. So, okay, please read ahead.
If one gradually advances his status in uh, devotional service, this is understood to be due to the causeless mercy of Krishna himself. If a person is completely detached from material enjoyment and has developed pure ecstatic devotion, even if he is sometimes accidentally found not living up to the standard of devotional service, one should not be envious of him. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that a devotee who has unflinching faith in and devotion to the Lord, even if sometimes found to be accidentally deviated from pure devotional characteristics, should still be counted among the pure. Unflinching faith in devotional service in Lord Krishna and in the spiritual master makes one highly elevated in the activities of devotional service. In the Narasimha Puran, it is stated, if a person has completely engaged his mind, body, and activities in the service of the Supreme Godhead, but externally he is found to be engaged in some abominable activities, these abominable activities will surely be very quickly vanquished by the influence of his staunch devotional force. The example is given that on the full moon there are some spots that may appear to be pockmarks. Still, the illumination spread by the full moon cannot be checked. Similarly, a little fault in the midst of volumes of devotional service is not at all to be counted as a fault. Attachment for Krishna is transcendental bliss. Amid unlimited volumes of transcendental bliss, a spot of some material effect cannot be act in any way.
Amazing. This is, this you got this. What Prabhupada is saying. There are very vital points over here. He's saying that this attachment, somebody who is making gradual progress in spiritual life and continue on and on year after year after year, 2 साल हो गया continuing, 4 साल हो गया, 5 साल हो गया, 6 साल हो गया, 8 साल हो गया, 10 साल हो गया, continuing to practice Krishna consciousness. We have to understand that he has attained clearly causeless mercy of the Lord. Krishna's mercy is so much on him. That's a very clear symptom. So these are all very nicely written. That's why this NOD is such a book. It goes into such deep depths of devotional service. All different types of devotion will be explained in this NOD. We'll see. So sometimes people ask that how do we understand Krishna's mercy? So You can say that Krishna's mercy means if a person is, means of course, Krishna's mercy is always there. Like Krishna is showering his mercy as a sun, moon, like right. Having human form of life itself is Krishna's mercy also. You know, because that is the great benediction. But if you see that the mercy on a spiritual platform, the real mercy, other mercy is also there, but the real mercy, or we can say the pleasure of Krishna, is with that devotee, is because Krishna is pleased with that devotee. That's why he is allowing him to continue year after year, year after year Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it is not possible. That's why Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Atati Sahiddaye. Among thousands, only one person can do so. And you all can see, actually, you all are like that living examples of such causeless mercy, at least till now. Till now, at least. Because so many of your people who attended programs with you, some of them shifted into voice, but we see that at different stages they just got down from the train of devotional service and went away. But it is certainly very, very great mercy of Krishna upon you that you are being allowed to practice. So sometimes people feel that I can leave bhakti, but you cannot leave bhakti. Bhakti may leave us if we are not alert. So because bhakti is simply obtained by the causeless mercy of the Lord, there is no other reason for bhakti. It is not that we can just decide whether I want to be bhakta or not. It is Lord who decides whether he should continue bhakti or not. Of course, Lord wants everybody to continue bhakti, but if some person becomes offensive or antagonistic towards the Lord, then Lord will not allow him to practice bhakti. But the fact that you are continuing year after year, that shows that Krishna's mercy is great. But even if somebody has gone away, but still Krishna's mercy is not permanently gone away from him. He'll again get back that chance. So that's what we discussed. So it is not that, again, it is not 0 or 1, that there is mercy or no mercy. It's not like that. So in fact, that is also Lord's one's causeless mercy, that a person may, even though he may have given up, again Lord will give him various chances to come back in devotional service. And that's what we see practically happening. So many people who were the part of our voice before, very recently I was talking with Yugal Milanpu also. He was telling many our pass out devotees are again wanting to come back in devotional service and all, and they're feeling that, oh, voice days we did not take it nicely, now we want to again take it. Like that. So Krishna's causeless mercy is not lost forever for anybody, but somebody who is practicing year after year, continuing to practice Krishna consciousness, that means Krishna's solid mercy is bestowed upon him. Very, very, Krishna is, that means he's pleasing Krishna, one sense you can clearly say. And then such a person, even though apparently he may commit some blunders, it's very clearly written. Prabhupada is referring to Apichet Suduracharo verse over here. Even though he may appear to do some blunders, some non-devotional practices, and abominable activities also. Sudurachar means extremely, because Samyak Vihor. So still he should be considered devotee because he is situated in devotional service. That's why he should be considered as a devotee. Although from one point of view, he not have done exact good thing, right thing. But if he continues to be, like Prabhupada gives example of moon, that on the moon there may be pock marks, but still the illumination of the moon, the beauty of the moon cannot be checked. Despite the marks, moon is still very beautiful, still very luminous, despite having marks on it. So same way, devotee, if he is continuing to practice his Krishna consciousness, although he is, of course, one should not purposefully commit. In that same purport, Prabhupada writes, Apiche Surachara verse purport only Prabhupada writes, this refers to unintentional sins, not that purposefully one commits. Anyways, Krishna will take care. Not like that. But due to habits or due to some slip, if somebody commits some wrong activities, still Krishna will accept him as a saintly, because he is practicing, continuing to practice devotional service, So this is a very important and wonderful phenomenon of Krishna consciousness. So amazing concepts of devotion which are so depth and we can practically see them. We can get to see all varieties which are there, including ours. We are also one of the variety amongst these at various stages which are mentioned in NOD. But the point is that if after reading NOD, we can clearly see, that how actually it is practical and actually it is seen, within the circle of Vaishnavas also. Okay, so we end here with this Rohitru's question. Sometimes it is mentioned it is nullified and sometimes it is covered for whom commits an offense. Yeah, basically covered, but why it is nullified? Because all the covered is all as good as not there, right? Means it doesn't become zero, but if you don't have access to it, then it is as good as zero. Right? Like you may have $5,000 in your account, but if you forgot your password of your ATM or whatever pin, then it is, even though you may say that yes 5,000 hai par nikal nahi pa rahe, means it's as good as not having only. Till the time you get back your password, till that time it is as good as not having only. So that's why the word nullified is also appropriate, although it doesn't go away fully, because that's what Prabhupada is writing, that he's again given second chance, so because of some offenses he cut off that attachment, but again he will be given chance ahead. That means it is not destroyed, but it is covered. But covered means as good as not there. Now that access is not there to that attachment. So it's, but still it is not permanently gone. It will come again, chance will come again. All right, so we have completed this 18th. This is 18th chapter, no? Yeah, 18th chapter we have completed today.
Yes.
So one more chapter to complete our NOD. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Amazing descriptions. Here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prajit. Thank you.